Welcome back, guys. So it seems like it's been about a week or so since the last time we've taken a look at a brand new Hyperkin clone console. These guys just keep pumping them out, man, and hey, we're here to take a look at them, so why the heck not? So today we're going to be taking a look at the Retron 3 HD 3-in-1 retro gaming console. NES, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Genesis, Mega Drive. Seems like it took them a while to get there. They did do the Retron HD, then the Super Retron, and then the Mega Retron, and then they did the Retron 2 HD, which was just, what, a month or two ago, a couple months ago that this came out, which was Super Nintendo and NES. This one is combining all three of their HD systems, the Mega Retron, the Super, and the Retron HD, right? So kind of crazy that they finally came out with that, but I guess they had to do each one individually because it's been a couple years since Retrobit did their 3-in-1 HD system, which I thought is an okay console, not the greatest. I always give Hyperkin credit, their consoles, the quality just, as far as the build, the plastic, everything's really nice with these things. So today we're going to test this out. I have my assumptions that it's going to be very similar to everything that they've already released, just all combined into one. But here's the box. We got our little Hyperkin cut corner there. Always very nice stuff. Little foiling there going on there. Some silver foiling. 720p HD audio. 16:9:4:3 aspect ratio switch. That's a blessing for sure that this thing has 4:3 aspect ratio switch. Hyperkin's been really good with that with their recent consoles. Premium controllers. You do get a Scout and a Squire, I believe it's called. Genesis, Super Nintendo one. No NES controller. They should have bundled one with it, but you're going to have to find one. NTSC and PAL switch, 6-foot micro cable. Okay. Back of the box, just a bunch more jargon like, hey, play all these systems in HD. Just going back over everything again. So no point reading all that. If you want to freeze frame it, boom. There you go. Freeze frame it and read it. But we're just going to go ahead and open this thing up. So I did buy this myself. $85. Holy crap. I believe the Retron HD, when it first came out, was around $50, I want to say. And then the Super Retron was about $60. And then the Mega Retron was like $45, $50, somewhere around there. And then when this came out, this was what, $70? I actually really like the way this looks, but so $85, you're paying, let's just say $90, so $30 a system. Okay, cool. I got the red one. They actually have another one that's like this color, this clear black, but I believe it's red accents. Looked pretty cool, but I thought this one looked neat, so I'm getting a red one. Who cares? Let's do it. So there it is. I actually, you know what, these slots, those slots like actually are pretty quality. They feel good. These are some quality slots. They got their pin perfect technology going on there. I think they've gotten better with their pins. Little bit of a death grip in the past, but now these are not bad. I think these are pretty damn good pins. Really, really cool stuff. The nice thing with this version of the system here is that there's an actual power button and reset versus the last version. It was just like power. Okay, you want this to play Super Nintendo? Boom. You want it to play NES? Boom. That's it. You want it off? Just put it in the middle. So I kind of like how this one has a little selector for the system. Super Nintendo at the bottom, Genesis in the middle, NES at the top, and just select it and then power on. I like that. And then you have a little reset button there. But that's not all. We also have this lights up, the little Hyperkin. They've been doing that for a while now. Super Nintendo controller ports on the front. NES on the left side, depending on how you're looking at it. If you're looking at it from here, this is the left side. So the left side, 2 controller ports for the NES. And on this side, Genesis ports. Very nice. And then you flip that bish over to the bottom, and you have some switches here. NTSC PAL for each system. Super Nintendo, NTSC PAL, and then Sega, you have PAL, NTSC U, and NTSC J. And then NES, you have NTSC and PAL. So little options down there. The Sega one can come in handy for Master System. Back when I tested the Mega Retron, I had pointed out like, hey, if you have it on NTSC U or J, and you try to play Master System games, it's like all jacked up. If you play it in PAL, it plays it fine, but it plays it in 50 hertz, so it's slowed down. So I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing with this. We'll test that out in a moment, but there you go. The ass of the system, HDMI, boom, 4:3:16:9 aspect ratio switch, AV, if you want to hook it up to a CRT or, you know, whatever, and then your micro USB power right there. Nice. So there's the system. Has a little heft to it, which could just be because they normally put metal plates in these things. We'll open this up in another video if you guys want to see the insides. But it doesn't feel bad. I like the plastics they use. I just really wish Hyperkin, they can do it. I think they could do it. Make a more premium system. This is not emulation, my friends. And those of you who are new to the channel, this is a clone system. It's system on a chip for each console. But the video and sound output's just going to be dependent upon how that chip performs. It's cloning the original systems, not emulating the systems in a software sense. So keep that in mind. These are clones of each console. So we'll take a look at that another time, opening it up anyway. Then in the box, we do get a manual that's in probably like 6 or 7 different languages. Just tells you like, hey, comes a Scout and a Squire controller, the contents, who cares, and then all the shit that we already went over. You know, it is what it is, like page and a half of nothingness. We don't care about that. And then the next thing, before we get to the controllers, because I think the controllers are like probably the biggest thing in this bundle that I think is awesome, in my opinion anyway, because I think Hyperkin, you know, I have a love-hate relationship with Hyperkin. I think a lot of you guys know that. I don't like necessarily hate them, and I mean, I don't love them either, but I think they put out some good stuff and they put out some really jank stuff. It's just the nature of the beast here with these guys. Hyperkin, they're all over the place, man. All over the place. But I know there's a market for these clone systems, so that's why we're taking a look at it. You get a little HDMI cable, AV cable, if you so need to use it. Nice. A pretty long micro USB power cable, and it does come with a brick. I believe it says like, hey, it might not come with a brick, but make sure you use 5-volt 1-amp power supply. But yeah, this one definitely came with it. Same one that they've been shipping with most of their systems as of late. If it doesn't come with one and you use a shitty one, or you plug this into like something that just doesn't give it much power, you're gonna have a hard time with some things, namely using flash carts, which is the one thing we're gonna test real quick today, is flash carts. If you don't have enough power to this system, good luck getting these flash carts to run. So we will be taking a look at that, and I'll give you guys some commentary on that once we get there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the controllers real quick. So, ooh, we get a couple of them. I wish they would have gave us an NES one, because it would have been pretty dope to get a clear red one like that. But here's the Super Nintendo controller, the Scout. I think these are really excellent controllers, wired controllers. Hyperkin's doing a really good job with these, in my opinion. Little butt cheeks in the back, make it a little more comfortable to hold. I think these are excellent controllers. I really do. As far as wired controllers go, these are really good. So you get one of the Super Nintendo ones, and then you get the what was this? The Squire. 10-foot cables on these things, so you got some length. I'm kind of mixed on this controller. I feel like the buttons and everything's a little stiff at first, because it's exactly the same as the one that came with the Mega Retron HD. And I thought it was a quality controller, but I felt like it was a little stiff at first. And they are, like, the D-pad and the buttons, they're a little stiff, just a wee bit. But over time, they kind of loosen up a bit, and it feels a lot better. This is a damn good controller, but if I had to nitpick one thing, it would be that it does feel a little stiff at first. You do have a mode button. Boom. But really good controller. Not bad. Not bad at all. Just a little stiff. A little too stiff for me, I guess you would say. So there's that. We're gonna go ahead and plug this thing in. I really do like the way this looks, but I'm pretty damn sure, guys, that this is gonna perform just like the Retron HD, the Mega Retron, and the Super Retron. And with that, there may be some issues to discuss. So let's go ahead and plug this in, take a look at some footage, and then talk about it. Okay, so there you go. A little bit of footage from each console that this system supports, and as to be expected, the performance is identical to the previous consoles that Hyperkin has made. The Retron HD, Super Retron HD, Mega Retron HD. It all performs exactly the same. Doesn't really seem like there's too much in the way of improvements here. It's just a 3-in-1 console. NES performs the worst, in my opinion, as far as the sound, the color palette goes. The Sega Genesis, I think, performs decently well. I know there will be people harping on the sound and whatnot. Not a single one of the 3 consoles that this system supports do we get perfect audio, do we get perfect color palettes. It's just not going to happen, my friends. With these lower-end clone consoles, you're not going to get perfection. You need to get into the original system, FPGA-based systems, or jump into emulation, an emulation-based system, or just some kind of emulation software, you know, through RetroPie, through your PC, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's options out there. No right or wrong answers. I love covering this kind of stuff because, hey, I've been there. I got back into gaming through systems like this, and there's a market for it. Some people don't want to invest a ton of money and putting $80 to $90 for a 3-in-1 system that plugs into, HDMI. More power to you. I just want to provide you examples of what to expect out of a console like this. It's not the best option out there. Is it the worst? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. But like I said, I just want to give you guys an impression of what to expect if you were to be interested in something like this. We tested it with EverDrive's flash carts, and hey, flash carts work. That is cool. Big bonus there. NES EverDrive N8 works just fine. That was really cool to see. The N8 Pro, the newest version, does not work. I could not get mine to function on this system, but I've already kind of heard that there's issues with the N8 Pro working with clone consoles, or some clone consoles, so I didn't really have my hopes up. Maybe a firmware update in the future will take care of that. But there you go. Taking a look at these systems, the NES, oh man, yeah, the color palette, the sound isn't great. Sega Genesis, I think, is decent. For me, it's pretty close to acceptable. I know some people will say, like, hey, the sound, this and this and that. Like I already said, you can't expect perfection out of a clone console like this. It's just the way it is. Super Nintendo, for some, might be good. But hey, let me know what you guys think down below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Share my channel, thumbs up, drop a comment down below. All that stuff really helps me out big time, and I don't bring it up too often. I did pay for the system myself. If this video doesn't get over like 100,000 views, I'm not going to recoup the cost on that, and I don't expect that to happen. But hey, if you want to help me so I can continue doing these things, liking, subscribing, sharing, all that stuff helps me. Even with a loss like this, because this is going to be a loss for me. But hey, I want to share information for you guys so you could be educated, so you could see what there is to see. So hey, really do appreciate it. And with that said, I will catch you guys next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom. Bye!